Do more by doing less. With me, Charles Alexander, for small business owners, startups, and busy folks.
Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Malcolm Gladwell is one of my favorite authors. This dude managed to looks at things from almost every different angle humanly possible and tries to be very objective. He's the author of books Outlier, Blink, The Tipping Point. He has a podcast, Revisionist History, and I pay attention to all of them. And I remember one of the books, Outliers, he said something that really stuck with me. And it wasn't just me. Tons of people have referred to the thing he highlighted here, and several have argued against it, but it's a great point. He's credited with saying that you need 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. Now, where that comes into play for any of us is that 10,000 hours is like 5 work years. If you're doing about 2,000 hours a year, 40 hours a week, it takes a long time to become really good at something. A quote that he had, to become a chess grandmaster also seems to take about 10 years. 1,000 hours a year. Only the legendary Bobby Fischer got to that elite level in less than amount of time. It took him, 9 years? And what's 10 years? Well, it's roughly how long it takes to put in 10,000 hours of hard practice. 10,000 hours is the magic number of greatness. Now, let's not trick ourselves here. It doesn't mean 10,000 hours of practice will suddenly make you an expert. It's just a prerequisite to become an expert. And I get people that I've heard people argue this all of the time, especially if you've got your kids in any kind of athletics or if you've had the same habit forever. Just because you've scrolled 10,000 hours on your iPhone doesn't make you a scrolling expert. It just means you've spent 10,000 hours on it. Or I would hear people, I remember hearing baseball player argue this. Well, if you spend 10,000 hours pitching, that won't make you an MLB pitcher. I get it, but there's probably very few top tier MLB pitchers that didn't spend 10,000 hours becoming good at something. This makes sense. It takes years of practice or you won't become an expert. So several little key points to take from that is, first and foremost, if you haven't gotten in that type of practice just yet, don't beat yourself up over whatever you're not an expert on. I've practiced years and years and years, 20 years at public speaking. I don't even know that I have in 10,000 hours yet, but it's something that I've worked on relentlessly and I've become somewhat effective at it. But I will talk to somebody else who's got in 10 hours and wonders why they're not at the same level that somebody who's got that level of practice in. But here's the issue where we run into. Experience matters, but our experience can also kind of lie to us sometimes. We think since we've done something for 10,000 hours, that suddenly makes us an expert. And I'm a big believer, practice makes perfect. But if you're practicing bad habits, they will eventually get set in stone and you will think you have perfected something. That's where efficiency versus effectiveness comes in. Are we getting really good at the right things? Or are we getting really effective at ineffective items? You'll see this all the way across the board. A personal example for mine, I played basketball in high school growing up, a little old bitty town. I graduated with 25 people and we had all of 10 kids on the basketball team. I was the point guard. I was the dribble, drive, dish guy. I had 3 or 4 Steph Curry's on my team that could drain it from everywhere. And he used to frustrate me to no end because I practiced my shots all the time. Even the form that I had, every coach I'd ever worked with said, nope, that's the right form. You got the left hand and the right hand and you're making the little T and you got your elbow at a 90-degree angle. But here's the issue is I would practice. There was really nobody there on my own to coach me, and I developed some really bad habits. I didn't use my legs effectively enough, tried to make it all arms. And what I ended up shooting was this straight line knuckleball. And I practiced it. I don't know if I got 10,000 hours in, but I bet I got 10,000 shots in over and over and over and over until I got pretty decent at the straight line knuckleball. Now, the straight line knuckleball is not ideal for basketball. So it would go in sometimes just out of brute force. And I couldn't figure it out. For all of those years, I'd practiced on something the wrong way. I'd gotten really efficient at doing something ineffective. So you take my son Lane now, who would be mortified to hear me talking about this. He's a basketball player. He's only 11 years old, has a much better looking shot now at 11 than I did at 19 playing my one little old year of college basketball. When he practices, and of course I'm using my previous experience to help him undo this, he has the same form, but he uses his legs and he gets arch on the ball and he makes sure that it gets a little bit of backspin. And as he grows, his hands will get bigger. He'll get more and more. He'll get efficient at something that is effective, hopefully. I don't know about every other area of his life or game, but we're going to get that part down pat. That's my personal example. I got really efficient at something that was ineffective in my sports. How does this lay out for you or I and running a business, working with other people? Have you ever had a boss that was really efficient at ineffective things at a previous job, or even the one you might have now, where they're great at micromanaging you? They've gotten really effective at it. They know how to pop in several times a day or send you passive aggressive emails, or they've gotten really effective at taking credit for things they didn't do, or deflecting and giving blame to other people. As becoming efficient at something that's ineffective. Or I've had a ton of entrepreneurial clients that say, well, I must be doing something right. I'm still here. Yet they still have the same revenue level that they've had for the past 5 to 10 years and haven't moved a single inch off of where they, started from. They're doing things like continuing to go to the same old networking event, and they've gotten really efficient at going to the networking event that's never given them leads. They've gotten really efficient at checking their email first thing in the morning and making sure they get to inbox 0 before 9 a.m. Or they're really efficient making sure they never have a voicemail that's left hanging out there longer than an hour. Or they're getting really efficient at managing their handful of employees by never letting the employee think or feel or do anything without getting written permission from them first. That's being really efficient at a lot of things that make you that aren't effective. Other areas, you put out fires all day and you got really efficient at it. You've opened multiple browser tabs that you can bounce back and forth between all of them efficiently. You're doing work that could easily be outsourced to somebody else, and you're doing it really efficiently. You're checking email at 9 p.m. because you figured out that's a golden hour to knock a few things out, quote unquote. I remember years ago, I got really efficient on LinkedIn with a strategy that I had picked up from somebody else, and I took it way too far, way too long, where you would go on to your Dream 100. These are the top people that you want to reach out to and partner with and learn from and maybe do business with one day. And every day I would scour their profiles, and whenever they created a post 30 to 40 times a day for these, different people, get on there and make a comment, which sounds genuine, right? You're talking to them, you're relating to them, but golly, you got really tired at it and you didn't want to spend all day doing it. So a lot of the comments were, oh, hey, great post. Oh, that's a good point. I hear what you're saying. Got really efficient at doing something that didn't really matter. And after months of doing that, realized they're not paying me any attention. And that's one of those areas where people start to complain or blame other people. Well, I've done everything I'm supposed to do and I've gotten really, really good at it. Doesn't matter. It wasn't the right thing to do. It wasn't genuine. It didn't help anybody else. There wasn't any value there, but I got to where I could do it really quickly. So in your areas of your life, what are some of the things that you need to be doing that are more effective and the things that actually matter, not just being fast or furious? Where should you be spending in your 10,000 hours to do something that makes a big difference? Marshall Goldsmith, another great author, wrote a book even, but use this term, what got you here won't get you there. Spending time at being efficient at things that aren't effective. Identify the things in your life that are effective and get efficient at those. Wait, don't run off just yet. Do me a big favor, hit the little plus sign to subscribe, scroll down to wherever you are and leave a very honest 5-star review and tell other people why they should be listening. And if you don't, an angel may in fact lose its wings. True story. Have a great day.